What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation, coming at you from Centennial, Colorado. I am just out here chilling. Me and my wife are about to go pick up this van to go on our little short trip to San Diego. Should take about a week there and back. So kind of looking forward to that. But I was talking to somebody a couple days ago, and they were asking, he's thinking about getting in the trucking industry, and was asking, how can you drive up to 11 hours a day without getting bored? So I kind of wanted to talk about that. And this is something that I am very serious about. One thing that I try not to do is waste my time out here driving. You know what I'm saying? If you really think about the amount of time that you have out here actually driving, you can damn near get a college education within 3 years just researching the topics that you want to become more familiar at. You know what I'm saying? And somebody like me, one of my biggest regrets in life was not getting a college education. And actually, I should say one of my biggest regrets is not even getting a 2.0 in high school. I graduated high school with a 1.8 grade point average. So, I've been trying to catch up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I've always done, and this is before trucking, is, I've always known what my weaknesses are. So a lot of the stuff that I would consume, if I want to sound smart, would be things that aren't like, I guess you could say, aren't just dead topics or dead, how can I explain it? Whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to get something out of it, which means if I'm driving, put it this way, I came to Prime in March 2019. I can honestly say that during that period of time, from now till then, I may have listened to the actual radio or music maybe at the most, if you added it all up, 2.5 hours most. You know what I'm saying? Because I just, it's cool to listen to some stuff and everything like that, but not really getting anything out of it. So I'm trying not to waste my time when I'm out here. There's things that I feel are important to learn, and I try to consume that material that's going to kind of put me in a position to take advantage of the things that I'm trying to take advantage of. Personally, me, I'm getting a little older. We're up in the 50s and stuff like that. And, I took a big hit a while back. And, luckily I've been able to kind of put myself in a pretty good financial position. But that is one of the reasons I came into trucking, was to just put one more thing in place before it's time for me and my wife to ride off into the sunset. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things I'll listen to is, financial planning, even people I don't agree with. I really don't agree with David Ramsey on a lot of his topics and things like that. I think a lot of his preachings are a little bit more novice as opposed to where I'm at right now. When you're talking about paying off bills and those kind of things, I'm really already there. So he's somebody I don't really listen to, but there's a ton of people out there that you can learn, or I can learn from a finance standpoint. I'm into real estate, or I shouldn't say I'm into real estate. I'm looking at buying one more property before me and my wife shut it down. And, there's a lot of different factors into that. So, I was just listening to a live feed last night with Eric over at Driver Lineup. And he said that he'd moved to San Antonio. First thing I did when that live was over was just look up San Antonio. Videos about, what it's like living in San Antonio. What's the San Antonio housing market like? This and that. You know what I'm saying? I've done that on several places that I found to be places that I like. Asheville, North Carolina would be another one. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but those are things that I try not to waste my time. I try to get as much information as I can while I'm driving. And one of the most important things that I think I've listened to when I'm driving has nothing to do with trucking, anything like that, is all about mind space. if there is a video on YouTube that speaks about Holocaust survivors, and they actually have the testimony of the people that survived the Holocaust, I've listened to every single one of those. And while I really have, I've learned historical stuff by listening to those videos, but I haven't learned anything technically that's going to propel me forward. But what it's done is put me in the right mind space. So, for example, if I'm in training when I first started listening to these videos in 2019, and I'm in the top bunk and it's hot up there, and I even start thinking about whining about how hot it is in that top bunk, or if I have to drive in some shit I don't want to drive in, the first thing I think about is this person that just survived the Holocaust, the stuff that they had to go through, and all that kind of stuff, and compare that to me dealing with what I'm dealing with now. And it not only just goes through things like that, right now, politics, no matter what side of the fence you're on, people are, not that happy on either side. But one thing that I will tell you is I'm going to be grinding no matter what. It doesn't matter who the president is, if I like them, don't like them, any of that kind of stuff. I'm going to persevere, and they get no credit or blame for what happens to me. And it's listening to people that survive that and being able to take control of the things that I can control, and not worrying about the stuff that I can't control. But listen, you already know, if you've watched my videos, there's some things I just don't find to be in line with what my beliefs are. But listen, if you're out here driving for 11 hours and what you want to do is have the fastest car on the road, within a month of listening to everything you can listen to, you will probably be able to come up with a way to make your car the fastest car on the road. I'm not anybody that's into crypto and all that kind of stuff. Not because I don't think it's smart to do it or anything like that. I'm on the cusp of that baby boomer generation X. We don't really, for the most part. There's some of us, Rusty Man's probably out here watching this shit right now. He's in that same group. He might actually be a boomer, you know what I'm saying? He might, he's like one of those outliers, but you can learn so much about these topics, and getting educated on whatever topics that you find important, I think is something that you should do. And I think a lot of the failures in the trucking industry is that nobody is really taking a lot of people aren't taking this time that they have. They're not taking advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? There's so much that you can learn in this business, and I think a lot of people fail in this business. And I'm gonna say primarily lease operators, owner operators, and maybe to an extreme lesser degree company drivers. They fail because they haven't educated themselves enough on each of these different circumstances, and all of the information is out there. You know what I'm saying? There is years worth of content out there about being an owner operator, being a lease operator, and not just the people that actually succeeded in it. I probably learned as much from the people that failed at it than the people that succeeded at it. I'm not going into any names, but there was a driver out there that had started off driving and started leasing and wanted to build up his fleet, and he built up his fleet. And during this time I was like, you know what, I personally think he might be growing a little bit too fast. And actually a lot of this was before I even became a lease operator myself. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, he might be doing this a little bit too fast, and next thing you know, boom, it's a wrap, he's out. So I learned a lot from his mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So take whatever you think is important to you, and it could be anything. It could be, I know people that are wanting to just buy land and putting, building their house up on land. There is so much information out there that you can get just free that people aren't taking advantage of. Rather than that, they're in their truck listening to, music and stuff that, is just not giving them any value whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? So, just on the trucking end, if you're at Prime, and even if you're not at Prime, if you have a trucking channel in general on YouTube, I've probably watched that channel. There may have been some of them channels I look at and say, you know what, the negativity is just not what I'm going for. And a lot of times that negativity, you could look at the negativity coming from those channels and look at the progress they've made, and can look directly at that and say, you know what, I understand. There's a difference between failing and being negative. So I've seen YouTube channels where they failed at one point, made the comeback, and learn from their mistakes. So those are things that I would take from trucking channels. Brand new trucking channels, learn a lot from. Two that are on the top of my head, and I'm just gonna say them. There's a ton of them out there. Oh shit, I don't even want to say their name. Well, I don't even know their name. But, let me just put one of them out there because I know the actual channel name. But there's several out there. Peruvian Trucker, even though he's out there disrespecting us, looking like the fourth musketeer that wasn't issued the hat and sword. That's a joke. But he's out there, first week out in TNT. You know what I'm saying? If I'm coming through training, or I just got out on my own, that's a channel that I'm going to be looking for, because that's a channel that's going to be kind of going through the things that you might be going through. There's channels that are going to be coming up at this point. Shout out to Rich's River Smokers, West Virginia. There's a channel right there who's going to be coming through, going to be going through things on his own. You can learn a lot from their mistakes. The driver that drives my other truck, Ferry Wire Trucker, she got out on her own and didn't know how to back a truck worth a lick. So she could be helpful for all you people that are just about to get out of training, that aren't feeling all that confident in your backing, and just seeing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Those older channels out there, the Million Mile Man, Willie, learn a lot from that channel. Well, I learned a lot more from talking to him personally than his channel, but, engaging with some of these people, Kiersey, trucking along with Kiersey. When I first got out on my own, I'd taken this logs class twice, still was trying to wrap my head around how to do this 8-2 split, all that kind of stuff. I watched her 8-2 split video probably 10 times to try to get a proper understanding of it. Those are just trucking, but forget about the trucking. Just try to better yourself in general. You know what I'm saying? Do not waste your time out here listening to shit that's not gonna make you better in some form. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. It's kind of an answer to his question. But another question came up: do I plan on training again? I would probably say the chances of me training again is probably close to 90%. The chances of me training again within this calendar year is probably closer to 15%. So not sure if that's going to happen or not. But that's it. Anyway, congratulations to all you guys that have just got out there and got your CDL, whether you trifected at Prime or not. As some of you guys know, I did not get my CDL on the first try. But then again, I have not had a shipper, a receiver, another truck driver. I haven't had anybody ask me how many times it took me to get my CDL. So take that pressure off yourself. Anyway, that kind of a rambling video. Hopefully at least you were able to pull just a little bit out of that. But that's about all I gotta say. Maybe next time you see me, still trying to figure out this damn GoPro I bought. I bought a GoPro about a year ago and haven't even I took it out the box maybe once. Not sure if I'm be incorporating that or not, or if I'm just gonna sell that, or what the deal is gonna be, but maybe try to get around to some of that. But maybe I need to watch some videos on how to use a GoPro. You know what I'm saying? It's a little intimidating. And actually, you know, before I even get to that, so one of the largest cooking channels out there right now, Smoking and Grilling with AB. You know, when he first got in the game, he kind of said that I was one of his inspirations, but he took this stuff serious. You know what I'm saying? He took that YouTube cooking genre serious, and he like basically tried to get a college education on filming, pictures, photograph, all that kind of stuff. And now I haven't even looked at his channel lately, but upwards over 1 million subscribers. He's made enough money to retire a couple times off of that, and that's because he didn't waste his time. He educated himself on something that he was actually trying to do, and that is the difference between him and a lot of other channels. So I'm saying do the same thing in trucking. Anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking Transportation. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.